Today, we will continue the course Automotive Assembly and Adjustment. Project 4, Interior Trim Assembly and Adjustment, Part 1 of Section 3, the Structure and Process Flow of Secondary Interior Trim. Interior trim assembly and adjustment consists of two main parts: primary interior trim and secondary interior trim. Primary interior trim is the first section after the automobile body enters the final assembly workshop from the paint shop. After primary interior trim is completed, the body is assembled with the chassis. After the body chassis assembly is completed, we move to the secondary interior trim section. Then we carry out the assembly and adjustment work for secondary interior trim. In this lesson, our main task is to learn the structure of the key parts in secondary interior trim and analyze the typical stations and the assembly process of key components in secondary interior trim. We will also organize the operating tasks, precautions, and parts for each station. These mainly include wheels and accessories, front and rear seats, hood and headlights, doors and accessories, electrical inspection, various engine pipeline connections, and various fluid additions. As shown in the figure on the right, this is the wiper assembly diagram. Here is the assembly and diagram of the vacuum booster. During assembly, pay special attention to small parts and ensure assembly completeness. After all assembly stations in the chassis area are completed, we enter the secondary interior trim section. Secondary interior trim assembly includes 42 stations, and there are many parts and components involved. Key parts include, at Station 1, brake fluid, refrigerant, radio trim panel, and others. At Station 2, coolant, cleaning agent, wiper arms, and others. At Station 3, a pillar upper and lower trim panels, the hood switch, the horn, and others. At Station 4, wheels and decorative covers, the spare tire, the trunk carpet, and others. At Station 5, the auxiliary instrument panel, the gear shift knob cover, the storage box, and others. At Station 6, front seats, headrests, the steering wheel, the airbag, and others. At Station 7, the door assembly, the door check, and the door wiring harness, and others. At Station 8, fuel filling, connecting the battery negative terminal, electrical inspection, and others. In the materials on the Caoxing Sheshitong platform, download Table 4 to 3 Secondary Interior Trim Assembly Process Flow. There you can find the operating steps, operating methods, operation diagrams, safety precautions, part names, torque values, and more for all stations in secondary interior trim. There are many assembly stations in secondary interior trim. Here, we will focus on learning the assembly process flow of several typical stations. First, the assembly process flow for the left and right wheels. For example, at Station MA19, assemble and pre-tighten the left front wheel. Then assemble and pre-tighten the left rear wheel. At Station MA21, tighten the left side wheels. Install the left wheel decorative cover assembly and related components. Before operation, the assembly order sheet must be checked. Operators are required to carry out a 100% inspection of the incoming parts for the 3C certification mark. If there is number 3C mark, installation on the automobile is prohibited. During wheel pre-tightening, pre-tighten one bolt first, and then retract the tightening tool. Then pre-tighten the remaining 4 bolts using the diagonal tightening method. By referring to the operation diagrams, you can clearly understand the operating steps and key precautions at each station. Second, let's look at the assembly process flow for the front and rear seats. For example, at Station MA28, place, assemble, and tighten the rear seat backrest and seat cushion. When tightening the rear seat backrest, make sure the electric nut runner does not scratch the backrest. First, tighten the center bolt. Then tighten the bolts on both sides. During operation at station MA29, use the robotic manipulator to clamp and lift the seat from the left front door side. Insert the headrest, connect the wiring harness, and position the seat. Station MA30 on the right side follows the same procedure. At station MA31, install the guide parts. Adjust the guide parts and assemble the headrest before connecting the seat airbag wiring harness. Confirm that the battery cable is disconnected. Otherwise, the seat airbag may deploy, creating a serious safety hazard. For the operation demonstration, please watch the video on the Caoxing Sheshitong platform, installing the rear seat cushion. Next, please complete the in-class task in the Learning Materials section on the Caoxing Sheshitong platform. Download Table 4-3, Secondary Interior Trim Assembly Process Flow. Organize the operating tasks, precautions, and parts for each station. Finally, please complete the online assignment and the extended tasks. Thank you for watching.